When you say CIA, it's almost like when you say that, people respond to it in a very interesting way.
Yeah, lots of interesting ways.
Lots of interesting ways.
I used to say, if you took the entire alphabet in your hand and you threw it against the wall, only 3 letters would stick.
And ever since then,
CIA.
he has been absolutely determined to create this network that goes across some 60 countries.
These are the Hollywood 10. These 8.
They're not what they were.
These 2.
What are they now then? A bunch of are they organized in any way? Is there a central command, or do we even know?
I don't.
In terms of whether it helps or hurts the war on terror, it's for me an impossible calculus at this point, because I don't think we have a very good metric for knowing when we're done with the war on terror. I think, as many people have said, it's a cliche, there won't be a signing on a battleship. At the same time, I think we've made major progress in the war on terror.
But do you believe, for example, if there'd been a higher focus on Osama bin Laden and al-Zawahiri, who was still trying to get, without the distraction of going into Iraq, that we might have been able to have at least captured them?
We might have been able to.
Afghanistan.
We might have been able to, and we might have put even more pressure on al-Qaeda. And of course, Iraq, we'll see how it comes out. Can argue the case both ways. It's clear, though, that terrorists in Iraq, I don't think Iraq is the cause of extremism, but it's obviously a cause for extremists.
Right.
And the fact that so many of them are drawn there means that, I think, as CIA has said, that there will be a new generation of terrorists trained in urban warfare who, if they are allowed to leave Iraq, will be potentially menacing elsewhere. So
that's not good.
It's not good.
No U.S. bombs were actually dropped on Afghanistan, but U.S. forces were hunting caves.
Every jihadist is a joke if you catch him in time.
The most important things that they probably found were his cell phones, and that would give you a sense of who he was communicating with, either through voice or text messaging. The other thing would be his laptops, because he communicated so much through his to his operatives through email. So those lists of his contacts are absolutely essential. For an operation like this, ideally you would like to keep the arrest as quiet as possible, so the intelligence and police services have as long as possible to go and make the arrests of the people in those phones and email address books.
All right, 6:17 is the hour right now. That disturbing new intel report that we were just talking about is just out about homegrown terrorists. It details how otherwise unremarkable young Muslim men morph into terror fiends who are just as dangerous as al-Qaeda.
Our first witness, Dr. Bruce Hoffman, is well known to me and has advised me over the years on various issues involving terrorism. In fact, he has been studying terrorism himself for 30 years. Should have been enough time to solve this problem, Bruce.
Absolutely.
Indefinitely.
By the same token, apparently, Musharraf has created within his own intelligence agency, which he doesn't fully trust, a minor intelligence agency, a kind of a spider group made up of trusted Pakistani intelligence agents, CIA agents, and a number of wealthy businessmen who have funded privately a group that is tracking bin Laden and al-Zawahiri.
Oh, do they have a name?
They call it the Spider Group.
Is that right?
That's right. And this will probably be the key to tracking these men down.
Indefinitely.
We desperately need allies in this effort. We're so alone now. And you all remember what it was like right after 9/11, when the whole world was bending in our direction.
That this election's going to be about change.
Now, where the al-Qaeda tie comes in, I think it's mainly to do with exploiting the current situation. You know, al-Qaeda has become a global brand.
Therefore, this links is mainly virtual links, and it's moral links. And these small parts, which is led by Abu Mus'ab Abdul Wadud, in fact wants to use the mutual benefit between them and the main Qaeda or the mother Al-Qaeda, or call it what you want. The Qaeda of Dawahiri and Bin Laden want to say that they are everywhere, including in Algeria, and Algeria is a very important piece on this, on their plans, in fact. And Abu Mus'ab Abdul Wadud, the leader of this small group who came out from the GSPC, want to say that, yeah, they are with Al-Qaeda. They want to use the name of Al-Qaeda. The name of Al-Qaeda is very famous. The brand name is now, I will say, one of probably of the most famous names on the world. There is a reciprocal or mutual exchange of benefits.
All right,
and I think that is the main thing here between them.
The aborted plot was not, however, carried out by an international terror organization like Al-Qaeda, but by a group of local Muslims nearly inspired by Osama bin Laden.
At Mr. Green's point, that there's some also could be some copycatting and some freelancing going on as well.
Absolutely.
If you are in Belgium now, the #1 name for a child born in Belgium is Muhammad.
Absolutely.
What we know is that Al-Qaeda is a mothership situated around the world, but it can have branches, and those branches can also have
Intelligence officers arrested a computer expert believed to be at the center of Al-Qaeda's global internet
They're not what they were. What are they now then? They're a bunch of, are they organized in any way? Is there a central command, or do we?
You are the terrorists.
John P. Fry, official of the AFL, charges scores of CIO unions communist-dominated. Fry names 283 union men as Reds.
Testimony given more than 6 million Americans are subversive. Suspicion cast on certain Catholic organizations, the Boy Scouts, and the Campfire Girls.
It's you are the terrorists.
Waleed Farris, Fox News terrorism analyst, and good morning to you.
Good morning, Bill.
I want to go over this latest threat. How would this dirty bomb that's alleged online work?
Homegrown jihad.
Absolutely.
Americans plotting against Americans.
As Mr. Benjamin said, there are two extremes. On the one hand, some people might flee and try to go underground. On the other hand, they might try to lash out as a retaliatory strike. So we just don't know, and I completely agree that it really depends where they are in terms of planning and executing an attack.
Well, I think it's operating, but one never knows if it's some sort of copycat organization, if it's loosely, we don't really know the nature of Al-Qaeda.
Also, Al-Qaeda is opening franchises in Lebanon and Somalia. So.
In executive ways, they are separate and independent, and Al-Qaeda is very, very careful about that. But, you know, humans are humans. They talk. A jihadi doctor in Great Britain has a friend jihadi in Jordan who speaks to another friend in Iraq. Right. That is possible. They are humans as well.
I'm so sorry you're hurt. It's nothing a warm blueberry muffin can't fix.
And if I'm Al-Qaeda, I'm happy either way.
Well, why doctors are bombers is the question a lot of people have. One of these doctors said it was Iraq. Is that true, or is that just
Has bin Laden chosen Algeria as his launching pad to attack Europe?
There are many academics who are trying to tell us that it's
rapidly deploying the best military communications capabilities to new theaters of operation, developing and executing multifaceted media campaigns, print, radio, television, and the internet. But let there be no doubt, the longer it takes to put a strategic communication framework into place, the more we can be certain that the vacuum will be filled by the enemy and by news informers that most assuredly will not paint an accurate picture of what is actually taking place.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, there is no easy template that can help us predict which individuals based in the West will become radicalized. The people who take this path come from all walks of life. Typically, their ideological shift is not triggered by suffering, by oppression, or desperation.
These communists or communist pinkos have to give their name and address, and that stamps them in the community. And it might be an interesting thing to note that if war ever comes forward, which we hope will never come, that different war organizations, knowing these names, can strike the first blow at these people and finish them off before they can do any harm.
In 2007, the NYPD issued this report. Radicalization in the West, the homegrown threat.